And we're back here on the GSMC Baseball Podcast, bringing you our third segment, which is going to be talking about some notable non-first round draft picks that I did want to give my thoughts on. I got 5 guys here. Now, I want to make it clear that some of these guys are not non-first round picks. Some of these guys are first round picks, I believe. 3 of them are actually. But what non-first round pick I mean is just out of the top 30, out of the actual first round picks for each team that they have. Like just the one pick they get for being in the draft. So these are guys out of the top 30 that I did want to talk about. So non-first round pick just makes it sound more, is more notable. Makes more sense. Let's just put it like that. So yeah, we'll be going over that. And we're starting off at number 1 from the Baltimore Orioles. Let's get him on the screen right here. There we go. Shortstop, Griff O'Farrell. Now, nope, I'm supposed to pause. There we go. So Griff O'Farrell is a shortstop from West Virginia who the Orioles drafted 32nd overall, which they got from having the Rookie of the Year in Gunnar Henderson last year. That was their pick. So obviously MLB rewarding teams for calling up prospects and getting them to win the Rookie of the Year, I think is a very good idea. So O'Farrell is a 21-year-old shortstop, is 6'1", 195, really nice stature for a shortstop. Has a 55 hit grade, 40 hit grade, 55 run grade, 55 arm grade, and a 50 field grade. Now, University of Virginia is a very good baseball talent powerhouse. They did have Kyle Teal, who was a first-round pick last year from the Boston Red Sox. O'Farrell, again, I think with him is a very just MLB-ready player. If O'Farrell is up next year, I really would not be surprised. That's why I really like him. And the thing about O'Farrell is that he's a very good contact hitter. I think this is a guy who could hit 270, 280 consistently in MLB, have an OPS of around 800 consistently, but I don't think we'll hit for much power. I'd be surprised if he hits for maybe 10 home runs every year. But he hits for contact. He's good on the base pass. He's very good defensively. And again, I think he's MLB ready. He's looked MLB ready as the shortstop position. Was one of the most decorated shortstops in college baseball before getting drafted. So I think overall this is a very good pick. And while again he doesn't have the most standout tools, the fact is he can hit the ball and he plays great defense. And the Orioles have such a good farm system that they can take chances like this on a guy like O'Farrell. So I'm not sure where he'll play when he comes up, as they have a loaded infield. Maybe he'll become a trade piece down the line. But I really like this pick. Again, I think he's very MLB ready. I think he was MLB ready in West Virginia, and being able to get him 33rd overall I thought was a very notable selection. That was very good, and I just did want to give my thoughts on O'Farrell and that I like the pick. So there we go. Next up, we have from the University of Iowa, starting pitcher Brody Brecht. Now, Brody Brecht was a guy who I projected, and a lot of people projected before the season, to be a top 10 pick in this draft. I thought Brecht was absolutely fantastic. He was the guy I really wanted the Mets to draft if we did well in the lottery. Of course, we didn't. We ended up in 19, but I really like Brecht, and I thought he was very good going into this year. And the problem with him is that he was supposed to be a top 10 pick this year, and a lot of people thought he would be, and he ended up falling to 39th overall for the Colorado Rockies. Now, 38th overall, my apologies, but the thing with Brecht is he has insane stuff. I mean, his fastball is absolutely incredible. His slider is absolutely incredible. The problem is they got hit pretty hard this year. He did not have a good season with the University of Iowa. He has amazing, amazing stuff. It's just the results weren't there. He's a two-sport athlete as well. He caught some passes at wide receiver for Iowa, so he's obviously a very athletic person. He's 6'4", 235, has a really nice windup. I think looks like a pitcher. And again, when he's on, he looks like the best player in the draft with his fastball and that slider, which are absolutely fantastic. The problem is, when he's not on, it's really bad. And he loses control, his pitches get hit really hard, and that's the problem with him. But I think taking a chance on him in the second round is a really good selection by Colorado. Now, I'm not sure how he's going to end up performing in Colorado, of all places, obviously being at Coors Field, but I think Brecht still has a ton of good stuff. I think at the very least can be an elite reliever. So I think the Rockies are taking a chance that, okay, try to develop him as a starter. I mean, what are we going to lose? We're not going to be competitive for the next 2 to 3 years. Might as well try it. I think I think he'll come up rather quickly, being from Iowa and being what I think has top 10 stuff. I think his stuff is really just right behind JioSaavn, Chase Burns, and Hagen Smith, the top drafted pitchers. I think it's pretty comparable to those guys right after. But again, I think it's really just about consistency with him. I think it's about having that control, making sure that fastball and slider is on all the time, because when it is, man, is he a scary player and a guy I really, really like watching. So yeah, that's another guy there. After that, we'll be going to Tommy White, who of LSU, who ended up getting drafted by the Oakland Athletics at 40 overall. So Tommy White was a guy who was a pretty consensus top 30 player in each board, top 20 for some, and I was very surprised that he did end up falling to this. Now, he has a 55 hit grade, a 60 power grade, a 50 on grade, and a 40 field grade. So the problem with White is I don't think he's a defender at any MLB position. I think maybe he's a first baseman and more likely a DH, but I think the thing we have to look at is, can his offense be good enough that he won't play a position? Because to outlast the fact that he won't be a position. Is his offense good enough to be a consistent good MLB DH? That's the question we have to ask. And I don't know, but I think that his offense still is really fantastic. He has a lot of good potential here as a power bat. Was very good with this LSU Tigers team, which of course is always very competitive, going not just this year, but his whole collegiate career as well, being 21. He's played for them for a little bit. So I really like this pick a lot with Oakland. I think White has a ton of talent. He's a very notable college baseball player. A lot of people know him. So I really like this pick. I think it was very, very good. It was a very good selection by Oakland because they can take these chances because, what are they really going to lose? It's not like they're going to be competitive till they go to Sacramento or Las Vegas. So I really like this pick a lot. I think, again, the 60 power grade speaks for itself. The 55 hit grade, I think at its best, Tommy White could be a 30-plus home run DH who has an OPS of around 850 or so. So I really think that Tommy White can become a really fantastic player. It's just about the development. Maybe try to develop his defense. I don't think it can happen, but you got to try at least. So will be very interesting to see what is going to end up happening with Tommy White and just his future here with Oakland. So yeah, definitely watching him, and I thought it was a really good pick here by Oakland. After that, we have our next one, which is going to be Bryce Cunningham, who was drafted by the New York Yankees coming out of Vanderbilt. So Cunningham was the second pitcher the Yankees drafted here. They drafted, of course, Ben Hess from Alabama in the first round. So drafted two starting pitchers here. Now, Cunningham, of course, comes from Vanderbilt, and I really, honestly, I like his stuff a lot. A very athletic player, 6'5", 230, could have been a tight end in the NFL. That's obviously impressive, but he has amazing stuff. A 60 grade slider, a 60 grade fastball, a 50 grade slider, 60 grade changeup. Obviously, has a great fastball changeup combination that I think honestly can work very well at the MLB. I just think it's about having a bit more control and developing a third pitch. I think if he can do that, he can honestly be a frontline starter. I really like this pick a lot for Cunningham for the Yankees. I wasn't really a big fan of their first round pick in Ben Hess, and I think they really did much better in the second round here drafting Cunningham. I think he shows a lot of potential. He's very athletic for a pitcher, has a ton of great stuff, and yeah, very exciting about this pick, and I think it was a really good pick by this Yankees team. You get him more consistent with that control, get him a third pitch. I think he can honestly be a very good pitcher for this Yankees team, and very excited to watch him. Finally, we have from Northeastern outfielder Mike Sirota, who the Reds did end up drafting in the third round, 87th overall. Sirota, by a lot of people, I think was a top 60 or 50 player on their board. The fact that he did fall to 87 is honestly, in my opinion, a pretty good get by this Reds team. Sirota is actually a local kid coming from Mineola, so that's nice. Don't really get many New York prospects, but I really like his potential as well. I think he's very good out there in the outfield. I don't know if he can stick in center, but I think he'd be good in the corners. Has a good hit grade at 50, has a good arm grade at 55, and I do think he can end up being a very solid player in the MLB. I think his floor is very low. I think his floor is very high, honestly. I think he doesn't have the greatest ceiling, but I think he can end up being a good number 7 or 8 hitter in the MLB. A guy who has some good contact and maybe have an OPS of 750 or so. Played solid defense out there in the outfield, and I just think it was a very good pick by this Reds team. I really like the pick. I like the selection a lot. I think, again, he has a good floor for this team, and overall, I like Sirota a lot. I think he has a lot of good potential here with this Reds team, and I like grabbing him in the third round, where I did not think he would be available. So going over these picks once again, some notable non-first round picks that I did want to talk about. We have Griff O'Farrell from West Virginia, who did end up getting drafted by the Baltimore Orioles. Brody Brecht from the Iowa Hawkeyes, who did end up getting drafted by the Colorado Rockies. Tommy White from the LSU Tigers, who did end up getting drafted by the Oakland Athletics. Bryce Cunningham from Vanderbilt, who did end up getting drafted by the New York Yankees, and Mike Sirota from Northeastern, who did end up getting drafted by the Cincinnati Reds. That is our third segment here, talking about some notable non-first-round picks. Going into our fourth segment here, we will be going over the National League standings for the first half of this year. Just giving my thoughts on it, giving some surprises. my general thoughts on them. And we'll be going more into this tomorrow and Thursday's show. Well, of course, there are no games going on. So, yeah, we'll be doing that, and we'll see you after the break. So, thanks, and bye.